Maximizing fun in a base model mini 3-door Cooper. I'm Jay, Steph's on vacation, and this is Modern Motoring. 2024 Mini Cooper base model, and it's pretty rare that there's a base model of anything on any Canadian media fleet. So shout out to our Mini/BMW Canada rep for giving a base model manual mini minimal options on the Canadian press fleet. It'll be a fairly short and concise video. Well, at least that's what I say now. We'll see what happens when I actually get to talking. Let's start with the perks. So first off, it's manual, and not just manual. There is no cost to go between manual and the 7-speed automatic. Usually there's a cost. I can't think of any manufacturer off the top of my head that does it at $0, but as per the Mini Canada website about 20 minutes ago, there is no cost on the builder to go from 6-speed manual to 7-speed automatic. Next up, and it's optional, but it's still a perk, the dual sunroof. It's not just one big panoramic one, it's split into two pieces. It's not new for the Mini brand, but it's still cool that it has it, and more importantly, for your rear passengers, you can only have two because it is a 2+2 configuration. They get their own sunshade. So just because you want sun doesn't mean your rear passengers want sun. So that's definitely a perk to have that. Next up is a tiny little gas tank. It's 44 liters and the combined fuel consumption is 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So quick math tells me you can go about 600-ish kilometers per full tank of gas, and you can probably squeeze a little more if you go into different drive modes or watch how you're driving or change your driving habits, unless you already have very predictive driving habits. But small tank, definitely a perk. With it being so small, it is incredibly easy to park forwards, backwards, parallel, underground parking spots, smaller parking spots. Sometimes people park over the lines, and the beauty of a Mini is it's not that it's okay, but you have a solution in case someone's parked on the lines on either side. Again, with its small footprint, easy to drive, easy to park. As is the case with all Minis, whether they be automatic or manual, they are so much fun to drive. It's got a low center of gravity, and it's been known as the go-kart in the modern automotive world. After running around in this for a week, this week, and having, I think I've had one a year for the past 9 years, sometimes two a year, for this specific 3-door model. Yeah, it's fun. You just responsibly whip it around turns, and yeah, it's fun, and with the wheels stretched out and the short overhangs, yeah, absolute complete fun here behind the wheel. A perk here comes with the 6-speed manual, and the shifts are so smooth and they're just easy to do. There's a little bit of a notchiness to it. I don't mind that. Some people have a big problem with that, but I like a little bit of pressure between the gear selectors when you actually pull it in. There are now standard LED headlights. I know it's not that big of a deal between halogen and LED on base model vehicles. The higher you go, the more it matters. But the fact that Mini did this on a vehicle that's in the mid-20s to start, pretty good move. All right, one more perk, and it is the infotainment system. The touchscreen is really responsive, and the rotary dial to control what's on the touchscreen is also like second nature for me. And yeah, I've driven, I know I'd say maybe 100 BMW/Mini products over the past 10 years, but it gives you the option. So for example, Steph likes reaching over and touching the touchscreen, and I like using the controller. So best of both worlds. Let's start on the Quirks side of things. So in the rear seat, there are 3 cup holders, but only 2 seats. So maybe you play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to use that 3rd cup holder. A manual handbrake is definitely a quirk, especially in the modern automotive market. Almost everybody is going towards the electronic parking brake, and I like that Mini kept it here. There is no spare tire here in the base model Mini, and I've looked. It's not underneath the vehicle, and it's not in the depths of the trunk. I looked up a couple of videos, and in other Minis, there is a spare tire underneath the vehicle that you have to lower, but nothing doing here, and there's not even a tire fill kit. So unless I'm missing something, in April of this year, the 1 millionth Mini 3-door was produced, and that's for this current generation, and that's kind of a big deal. Like, it shows that people like the nostalgia. Well, I guess back when it was nostalgic when it first came out, and now it's turning into just like a mainstream vehicle. And if you just need something small to run around the city in, or if you don't need tons of space, consider this. It's fun to drive. It's got a small footprint. You got 211 liters of cargo space with the seats up and 731 with the seats down. So definitely pretty functional, and you can't fit everything in there, But again, for the size of the car, it's a pretty respectable amount of space. Last quirk, there are two ways to reset the odometer here. One through the board computer, which is the top button on your turning stalk, and the second one, which I completely found by accident earlier today, is at the top of the digital instrument cluster. There is a tiny little button that looks like it's blended in, and right there, you just push that down. All right, we've done the perks, we've done the quirks, let's go on to the Irks. It's a small back seat, and it's like an Irks with an asterisk, because I know it's a small back seat, because it's a car with a small footprint. I cannot sit behind myself, and to sit behind the front passenger, their seat has to be pushed up quite a ways. Yes, I've got longer legs, so maybe I'm a bit of an exception or an anomaly, but I think the average person wouldn't be able to fit in there entirely comfortably behind themselves. Next up on the Irk side is the placement of the front cup holders, specifically with the manual transmission, because you're always shifting. I find myself bumping my knuckles into the bottle of water that I have, and I've got one of those big, tall, reusable ones, and just a little on the annoying side, and I can't really see anywhere else where they would have put it, the way this specific center console is set up. If you want an armrest as a driver underneath your right elbow, you got to pay for it. It's part of the only package you can get on the Mini base model. I don't know, I feel that in 2023 as a 2024 model, that kind of stuff should come standard. Yeah, bump up the price by, I don't know, $5, $10 or whatever the small amount is, just to give the driver somewhere to have their elbow to rest. So it's not just kind of aimlessly hanging out there. The very last item here can be either a perk, quirk, or an Irk, and it's got to do with the power figures and the engine and the next step up on the Mini 3-door lineup. So the base model comes with a 1.5 liter turbo 3, and that puts out 134 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque through either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed automatic. And again, if you missed the first part of the video for whatever reason, there is a $0 cost to bounce between either of the transmissions. Now, if you want to go up to the Cooper S because you feel like you want more power, that gets you a 2-liter engine, 4 cylinders, but your power figures bump all the way up to 189 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. Also comes in a manual for an option or a 7-speed automatic. The price difference is only $4,150, and that gets you an extra 55 horsepower and an extra 45 pound-feet of torque. Some may say it's a perk because for only $4,150, you get a higher displacement and you get more horsepower and torque, and I feel this is adequately powered. I would stick with this, personally speaking. Would it be nice to have extra power? Sure, but for all the driving I've done this week and getting on the highway and avoiding potential collision situations, this is extremely responsive. I think that the 1.5 Turbo 3 engine is the right one. Let's wrap things up by talking about price and packages. So the price for this with no options is $26,390. Here's where it gets a little peculiar. When I go on the Mini site, mini.ca for Canada, and I go under the build this vehicle, it has the Premier 2.0 line already included as a part of the package or part of the build, and I cannot unselect it, which means I am stuck with it. And the weird thing about that is that takes the base price, or the only price really for this, to $33,740, whereas the price for my Mini Canada rep is $26,390. So you add in that Premier Line 2.0 for $7,350, but you don't get the choice to go without it, and maybe that's a glitch on their website, or maybe that's just how they're packaging it. Let's quickly run through some of the things you get with the Premier Line 2.0. You get a heated steering wheel, you get heated seats, you get that lovely dual panoramic sunroof, you get a digital instrument cluster, which is pretty snazzy. I like it, no issues, easy to see, easy to pull information out of, and it's attached to the steering column. It'd be funny if it was attached to the wheel. That's part of what you get in the package. Overall, this is a lovely vehicle. It's terrific, it's fun to drive, and all 3 trims come in manual, the base, the S, and the JCW. I would opt for it the way it is, and maybe I don't have a choice to, but I like the manual. I like having the big sunroof because it can feel a little closed in with a black interior. Now, your A-pillars and roof liner are a lighter color. It looks like a lightest gray. I like this. I think it's fun. It would fit my guitar, it would fit my amps. would probably fit my kayak on top with a very careful placement again because of the dual panoramic sunroof, or sorry, the dual panel panoramic sunroof. These are going away pretty quickly. The Mini Cooper SE EV is already out there. Yeah, it's only got, I think, 177 kilometers of range, but as the brand evolves and as the parent company BMW gets further into it, the more range we'll end up seeing here. So if you want something with a manual transmission and you want something small and fun to drive and you're not quite ready or interested in making the transition to an EV right away, take a look at these. Take it out for a test drive. Take it in its base form and then take it in the S form, which is the next one up, again with the larger displacement, larger engine, and obviously more horsepower and torque. It's worth a test drive at the very least, and good on Mini for selling 1 million of these of the current generation. It's a fun car, it's affordable, it's an iconic vehicle. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate the support. Feel free to join our community. We are on all the major social platforms. We read all of the comments and try and get back to as many as we possibly can. Without you, there is no us, so we thank you for watching and commenting, regardless if it's a positive comment or a otherwise comment. Nobody really says anything mean, just, you know, in between. Now I'm rambling, so I should really wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Now I'm repeating myself, and we'll see you in the next video.